In Northwest news, a man ordered a pizza and in a confrontation with police, he was shot and killed. Cairo News has the story.
The girlfriend of the man who was shot and killed by a Port Orchard police officer had to be restrained when she went after our Cairo 7 photographer. She was reportedly with the man before he became involved in a deadly struggle with an officer. Eyewitnesses say the man ordered pizza at Papa John's and he walked to the back alley to smoke a cigarette, and shortly afterward an officer confronted the man. People heard the officer fire several shots.
I thought I heard firecrackers. It was like maybe 2-3 shots, like ka, ka, ka.
I mean, I knew that was no fireworks. I don't care how close to the 4th of July we are. I know what the difference is between fireworks and a gunshot.
We asked Kitsap County investigators here if the man was armed with a weapon and what led to the shooting. They had very little to tell us.
All I can confirm at this point is that there's one deceased suspect. The officer himself suffered a minor non-life-threatening injury. He's being treated for that.
People who live around here tell us this kind of violence is extremely unusual.
Pretty shocking, actually. I think that's why it's drawn quite a crowd.
A Washington State Patrol investigation has cleared the Wenatchee police officer who fatally shot a suspect in an undercover drug deal. The patrol said today that Officer Scott Reber was justified in using lethal force on December 12th when he shot 43-year-old Robert Harris of Wenatchee. Reber was being dragged through the drive-through lane at a fast food restaurant after the officer had pulled over the car to arrest Harris. The officer was treated at a hospital for minor injuries. A massive fire burned down an apartment complex under construction in Vancouver, Washington. The department's marshal says the fire started around 3 in the morning on Friday. 40 firefighters responded. Natural gas helped spread the fire until someone cut off the line. The fire marshal says the building burned quickly since it wasn't finished and there was no sprinkler system inside. Crews let the fire burn out and there were no injuries. The Savannah River National Laboratory will review the issue of chemical vapors at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation. More than 3 dozen Hanford workers in recent months have sought medical attention after smelling chemical vapors on the Hanford site. In response, contractor Washington River Protection Solutions asked the South Carolina lab to perform an independent review of the chemical vapors program. Washington River Protection is the Department of Energy contractor responsible for cleaning up nuclear and hazardous waste currently stored in underground tanks at Hanford. The review team is expected to provide a draft report by the end of the summer and a final report by December. The reports will be released to the public. For a couple of car thieves in Seattle, they were stopped by a stick shift. Cairo News has the story.
And then he says, I want your car keys.
70-year-old Nancy Fredrickson was grabbing something from the trunk of her car when suddenly she saw a gun inches from her face.
You turn around and here's this big gun right here, right here.
She dropped her keys and says 3 teens jumped into her Kia. The only problem was none of them knew how to drive a stick shift.
I got 5-speed in there. And they couldn't figure out how to get it going.
So Fredrickson just stood there as they tried and failed. It's hilarious to her neighbors.
Yeah, they can't drive a stick? That's like unmanly.
But the teens didn't find it funny. They panicked. Cairo 7 obtained this surveillance video showing them sprinting through the parking lot of a business across South Main Street, with one bolting in another direction from his accomplices. And it turns out the one thing that held up the suspects could help police find them. Fredrickson says she saw officers taking fingerprints off the gear shift. Police also got DNA evidence. Other neighbors are surprised the would-be carjackers even tried it at 4:30 in the afternoon.
We're all elderly up here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's scary. And in broad daylight, too.
Fredrickson never imagined a stick shift would trip up 3 thieves, but she's thrilled she and her car survived unharmed.
It was quite an interesting day, let's put it that way.
Lindsay Sheldon, Cairo 7 Eyewitness News.
And that's going to do it for us here at iFIBER 1 News. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.